Hello students, first let's see what we will learn in this lecture. So we will have game objects, can be moved, we have some kind of point system, and this is it. So let's start from the beginning. In this lecture we will continue working. We have a camera and lighting set and some kind of game platform as a static body. After that, you need some function game object to create or something like this, where will be your code for rigid body and for visible shape, for collision, and signals for a rigid body. After that, you need to add some 3D label. So we have labels for a text in a 3D also. Use label 3D, set position, and write some text like points. Also, we need the label name because we will use it later, and you can add it as a child node to the root node. In this lecture, we will also learn how to create some kind of a timer using delta time. So in a process function which are repeating itself, some kind of the loop, you have a delta time. This delta time can be used for some time variable. So create two variables, time variable and time period variable. Time period variable can be 3 and time initial 0. Then increase it here, and if time is larger than time period and object is less than 4, then we will create one game object. So this is some kind of a timer, and this first part of a timer is important. So when the time is increased more than this time period of 3, then you can have one spawning of a game object, which are our simple box. Also, we will say only 4 objects can be created here, and this object needs to be set as variable here. So object also as variable, and then we can use this as some kind of a timer to create objects in a timely manner. So when we start a game, we have one object, and when the time comes and timeouts occurs, we can get another and another game object. The next thing is movement. So we will need to use this input for movement of our game objects. So this can be new for many of you, but it's not so complicated as it looks. So if conditional branch, this input is used from a keyboard. So is action just pressed, left arrow is declared like this. And these objects are less than 4. This is not so important, but you can add it. Then something will happen. Also for a right arrow, this is for a right side. This is input for a keyboard. Is action just pressed? So right arrow means, this means right arrow. And this object need to be lower than a 4. Also conditional branch, and then this will happen. So when we click on a left arrow, we move to the left. When we click on a right arrow, we move to the right. Like this. Okay. And now let's explain this. We will use one not popular syntax, but this can be good just for you to understand. not advisable to use it in a game, but you can use it in a game also. So we'll create one last added variable, and we will get a child. So we are getting a node from a node count -1, means we are getting a last created node. What is a last created node? This is node created here in a spawn. This is game object create. So what is game object create? This is our rigid body or a game object we use. So we refer with this last added as the last created game object, and then we get the position of this object. What is position of this object? This is some kind of the vector tree. So then we say last added object set position, and then we setting a position for this object to some kind of a new position, because this position is the exact position of the object, and we use it for epsilon and z, and for x we use -0,3. Why? Because we want object to move to the left. So when we click on the left, a last created object will need to move to the left. So last created object. In our situation, we have one object added after, and as you see here, so last created object is a label, and we're moving label on a screen, but now last created object is this kind of box. So label is created here. We will just cut paste it here. So the last created object will be game object, our rigid body, and now last created object is this one. Okay, and now let's explain what will happen if we want to move it to the other right side. So also this is our condition. Then last added is a last added node, rigid body. Position of a last added node is a position of the rigid body. And then we are setting a new position with a change in x-axis. Epsilon and z stay as it is, and x is increased by 0,3, so moving to the right. As you see here, we have movement to the left and movement to the right. Left, right, left, right. Okay. And the last thing is simple point system, which is really simple, and we need to improve it later, but for now it's okay. So we are using the name of the object with a collision, and then if this object is a game platform, only in this situation we increase points by 1. Then we use get node LBL. What is this node? This is our label 3D node, and we just set a text with the points value on it. So when we have a contact here, points are increased by 1. And this is not so great system, but works. So this is it. 4, 5. Okay, good for now. And this is all in this lecture, in some kind of intermediate part of our course. So I recommend to all total beginners start from lecture 1 and go slowly towards this. And if you are experienced game developer, or if you are in your beginner's path, I think you will understand this lecture easy. So thank you for watching, and we will continue in the next one.